Sorry guys, if you can, there we go. Jesus. The YouTube studio, I mean the Rumble studio, is being a little bit wonky lately. And it may be because of my computer. It might not have anything to do with the studio. I am overworking my computer constantly, so it's my desktop is full. My space is my storage is getting fuller. My battery is not well. So, anyways, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, Wendy? First one. I posted the show kind of late, so that's my bad. Probably a lot of people thought the show is not happening today, but here we are. We're here. Sorry for posting it quite so late. I was overwhelmed with a deluge of news and information, and I could not get myself organized enough to at least post the show pre noon. And I still have so much in my browser that I need to organize. But the problem with having too many tabs open is that my computer slows down to a crawl, and then nothing happens, which is probably why Rumble isn't operating as it usually is. It's usually good to have, a browser that's not quite. Oh, here it is. That's the one I was looking for. Okay. Very good. All right. Anyways, how y'all doing? Good to see you. I'm sure more people will kind of filter in as we keep going along. Oh, you're about to replace your battery, Bella? Yeah, let me know how that goes. So I bought a battery for this one, and then I was a little intimidated by the process. More so about the time my computer would be down. Like, I use my computer just all day long, and I don't have a backup. So I was like, well, if I get deep into this and I can't, and I get stuck, what happens if I get stuck, and I have to have my computer down for several days. It was just too much for me to think about. Anyways, I had a battery, and now it's no longer a battery. So it's a melted piece of plastic somewhere. So now I got to go get another battery or get my battery swapped out. I don't know. But let me know how simple it is, Bella, when you do it. It seems pretty simple. It just seems like a game of operation where you could touch the wrong part. You could touch the side and that would be, and game over. I don't know. But anyways, we're here. What's up? Good to see you. All right. So, man, Gazans are returning to Palestine. And I thought I had a post about that. Could swear I had a post about that. Hold on. Let's see. This is the problem with being unorganized. When the show starts, still unorganized. Let's see. No, that's not it. I had a good post about this. I will get to it in a second. Hold on. Well, Gazans are returning. A deal was made. A deal was made. And the Gazans are returning home to Well, pretty much nothing. And but they're happy. They're happy to return. They're happy. They're happy to be coming home. They're happy to still have their land and not be forced off of their land. Krista Nomad, what's going on? Bella is here. Wendy is here. Folks on Rockfin are joining in. What's up, people? And we're live on Rumble as well. Yeah, it never does me. It never does me a solid when I post the show late because people think there's no show, and it takes them a really long time to go. Like, oh, yeah, you're on today. Okay. And then there's the usual shenanigans with YouTube and whatnot. So hard to get around that. Um, anyways, we'll be looking at this, but this is what I mean. You kind of feel, not totally, but a little sense of relief, sigh of relief. Man, Rumble Studio is just not working out today. I can't. It's frustrating. Let's see. I don't know. Settings. Hold on. Oh, memory saver is not on maximum. It's on balanced. It's not on maximum. Okay. I just have a lot of tabs open and I can't. There we go. Okay. Brave is on a delayed. Drone footage captures the destruction caused by the Israeli war machine in Gaza City. Israel has destroyed more than 75% of the buildings, facilities, and infrastructure in the Gaza Strip. Just absolute destruction. Look at that. There's not much for people to return to. It's very sad. We'll look at this. From the AP, Northern Gaza is shattered. The spirit of returning Palestinians is not. They walked for hours loaded with whatever clothes, food, and blankets they could carry. Many smiled. Some hugged loved ones that they hadn't seen for months. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians filled Gaza's main coastal road as they streamed back to homes in the north. The mood was joyous, even though many knew their homes had been destroyed. In the Israeli offensives against Hamas that leveled large parts of Gaza City and the surrounding north, the important thing was to go back, they said, to prevent what many had feared would be a permanent expulsion from their homes. So there is some sense of relief, some sense of, this is over for now. So that's a good thing. Whatever or whoever brought this about, that's a good thing. Let's see. Are we on Rockfin, y'all? It seems like Rockfin is a little slow today. Excuse me. And then One more post on this. After 15 months of horrific genocide, Palestinians returned to northern Gaza in the tens of thousands following a deal overnight. They're happy, though, with a sense of deep sadness at all the losses. They refused to be ethnically cleansed. Incredible resilience. And what was the need for all of that in the first place? I don't know. It's incredibly sad what happened there. And hopefully, Old as Dirt asks, why did they not mention all the loved ones they lost? Yeah. Why not? Why not? Indeed. um, anyways, that's some good news coming out of Gaza. We're going to switch gears. I forgot to cover this story yesterday about Mexico rejecting GMO corn, and it looks like they're going forward. Despite the tribunal decision about having to keep accepting this corn or use this corn, they are doing this constitutionally, therefore they can reject the decision. So President Claudia Sheinbaum has just sent a bill to Congress banning GMO corn. So it's declaring maize a cornerstone of Mexican national identity and enshrining agroecological practices as mandatory. This is pretty awesome. Again, this is another bright spot in an otherwise sea of, terrible news that people have been experiencing lately. But they are standing firm, and they are going to reject the GMO corn, mostly from the U.S. No GMO poison, no glyphosate. This is food sovereignty and environmental justice in practice. I don't know if she's...
Hola, ¿cómo están? Estoy en Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, después de una hermosísima gira por este hermosísimo estado. Estuvimos en la ciudad de Oaxaca, después inauguramos la carretera Mitla-Tehuantepec, después estuvimos en Guajuapan de León, que es parte de la zona mixteca de Oaxaca, y bajamos hasta Pinotepa Nacional. Y hoy estamos aquí en Puerto Escondido. Estuvimos entregando las tarjetas del bienestar para los 3 nuevos programas, el apoyo a mujeres de 60 a 64 años. Anunciamos y ya vamos a empezar a entregar.
Okay. So this is a constitutional GMO ban and is a monumental step in Mexico's visionary national food sovereignty policy. So is it any wonder that there's probably going to be that we're probably going to give Mexico some democracy soon? I mean, I don't know if it's just over this, but there also was reports of cartels exchanging gunfire with border agents yesterday. There's just so many stories to cover, but just always keep in mind the idea of the greater North American Union, right? Trump signaled that bringing Canada and Greenland in, and if you see the idea that cartels are bad news and we need to go in there into Mexico and root the cartels out, and maybe we'll just of course there should be a U.S. military presence in Mexico, and maybe Claudia Scheinbaum gets driven out of office for whatever reason. Uh, I don't know. I just keep that in the back of your mind. I'm not saying that this is going to play out necessarily soon, but it wouldn't surprise me if something really crazy happened, right? And there were U.S. troops going across the border into Mexico. It would not surprise me. Mexico getting a little uppity, right? Getting a little too much talk back in there. Anyways, she announced a groundbreaking national food sovereignty policy. She summed it up as sustainable and healthy food to produce what we consume at accessible prices for Mexican families. This is Mexico's food sovereignty program. Produce what we consume, emphasizing local production with focused priority assistance for small and medium agricultural producers. Hey, why don't we do that in this country? Why? Because everything is owned by corporations. Oh no, those are cartels. Those are the real cartels. A radical shift from dependence on imports and the traditional preferential system for big agribusiness. This is exactly, if we wanted to do something something real to address climate change, this is exactly what we do. We would encourage small farming. We would encourage backyard farming. We'd encourage everybody to start their own gardens and, send people out to help people, in that endeavor. It's exactly what we do. But no, we're not. We're going in the opposite direction. We're trying to drive backyard farmers. In fact, know that Altadena had a couple of small farms and plenty of backyard farmers before the fires. And we'll see how many of those backyard farmers return. Anyways, a radical shift from dependence on imports and traditional preferential system for big agribusiness, irrigation and water rights, modernizing irrigation infrastructure to save water and maximize crop yield sustainably, reviewing unfair water concessions that privileged regional and national water hoarders, guaranteed prices for corn and tortillas, ensuring fair prices for staples like maize and tortillas, and protecting the most vulnerable communities from market volatility. Sounds like they got them a little communism going on down there. Oh, we can't have that. Seed sovereignty, having our own seed supply, in turn preserving biodiversity, resisting corporate control, and ensuring cultural resilience. A niche topic for those familiar. Mexico positions itself at the forefront of environmental justice. Sustainable livestock production, emphasizing eco-friendly practices in livestock farming while supporting rural economies. Cultivating sovereignty program, empowering smallholder farmers with tech, credit, and agroecological practices to bolster local food production. Man, this is pretty cool. Mexico is proving that yet another world is possible, that a better, fairer agricultural and food system is not a dream, it is a reality in the making. And is not only a domestic policy paradigm shift, it is also a geopolitical one. Hence the need for giving them some democracy. I don't know. Yeah, John Glad, backyard farmers equal homesteaders. Yeah, micro homesteading, of course. They don't like it. I mean, that's why the FDA was trying to, or is trying to, get in. You're supposed to register your backyard garden with the FDA, right? Because they want to get in there and micromanage your backyard farm or put you out of business if they think you're doing things against the grain. What's going on here? I'm looking at your links, Denver. It's largely responsible for what happened in the U.S. I don't know. Oh, right. Well, I did see. All right, take it easy, Denver. Thanks for the links. U.S. corn is patented as a pesticide. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, that's pretty good stuff. Um, Speaking of the fires, though, it does seem like they are fat. It does seem like they are fast tracking um, people getting back to their houses and trying to get rebuilt. It seems that is what is happening. And I mean, I talked about this last week. um, you don't want to lose your last blue bastion of support. But I don't know. It seems like Trump is putting some pressure on Karen Bass and local politicians to speed up the process. And for better or worse, love them or hate them, it seems to be working, right? And it seems like people are snapping to attention to get this done quickly. And so hopefully the rebuild process for LA um, will not be as long as it has been for those in, say, North Carolina. It seems like people are really like on the case. Um, and let's hope you know hope that people can get back into their homes or rebuild their homes in short order and with minimal funny business. We'll see. I know there's all kinds of things happening. It seems like there's a lot of movement right now politically, which some bad, some good, and we'll try and dissect what we can of it. Yes, ICE is deporting people in major cities. It seems like they're going after criminal elements, not necessarily just people in their homes, but obviously I could be wrong, but what I've heard is that they're trying to get rid of people who are um, guilty of committing crimes first. So that's not necessarily so bad. Um, we'll see. Um, Gavin's going to have a hard time seeking. There was talk of Gavin Newsom being like the next in line for the next presidential race, but um, I don't see it. I just don't see it. He has got way too much dirt on him. He's got a stink on him. Like Kamala Harris. People are people do not like him. They see him as slick, um, dirty, right? They see him as slick and corrupt, and I just don't see him being able to. He just is not going to withstand the scrutiny of a presidential campaign. And I also think that he's probably going to go away before the next election cycle. I don't see him lasting too much longer because too much is being uncovered about him. And I just don't see it. They're gonna try and I think they're better off trying to get somebody else. I don't know who, but not Gavin Newsom. I agree with you. Malcolm says it scares me when people just rebuild. It is time for a paradigm change, not just another lemming. And just not. I get you, and I agree with you. Like it would be great if people. I mean, I know people are going to want to rebuild and get back into their homes, and that's just kind of the way people operate. But it would be nice if there was some. some planning involved, some forethought involved, right? Um, into how people rebuild and how, how we're going to go about this. Um, Again, like as far as Altadena goes, it was pretty suburban, almost rural in some cases. It had, it's an unincorporated part of Los Angeles, so there were very lax rules, and I don't know if that's going to change as well. But there were lax rules about keeping like backyard animals. It was one of the places in LA where people could have chickens in their backyard. Um, there were people doing uh, there were some larger kind of like not large ranches, but large homes with like a ranch feel where they had people were keeping horses and pigs and like it was that kind of a thing where you could have animals on your property and it wasn't an issue. So there was some like small ranching, small farming kind of things going on in Altadena. And let's hope that you know those things were not bad. Like you know, a return to something like that wouldn't be a bad thing. Um, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And yes, serenity. Any paradigm change will be dismissed as a 15-minute city. Right. Um, you're right. People, there will be a lot of railing against anything that sniffs like a 15-minute city. Okay. Let's keep going because there's a lot to cover. Um, the doomsday clock is moving closer to midnight. We'll see why. Um, yeah, I don't know, high density. I don't know. I don't know. I have a couple of different thoughts about the high density subject, but personally, I would just, I don't necessarily think high density is great. I, I just have a problem with more infrastructure. My problem was with infrastructure, and what I liked about Altadena is that it was very low, kind of slow paced. There weren't a lot of they were trying to build new structures in Altadena, but it was one of those places that didn't really it just was very slow, right? It just, somewhat resistant to like new um like development money coming in, which I like. I don't want if the infrastructure includes like trains and trolleys, that would be great. Something that could carry people from one end of town to the other, right? Or if we had I don't know, just less car infrastructure and more, bike infrastructure or walking infrastructure, green spaces, like that kind of stuff. The high density stuff I could do without. I don't need apartment buildings in Altadena. Nobody likes it and nobody wants it. I'm one of those people. I don't want it. You had like, yeah, kind of a rural feel, single family homes. I know, maybe that's not green to people, but like we don't need Altadena doesn't need apartment buildings. It needs, it needs people coming back and tending to the land, um, in a kind of a rural manner, which I personally am more of a fan of. Anyways, let's see. Atomic scientists adjust doomsday clock closer than ever to midnight. Um, Citing Russian nuclear threats. Are there new Russian nuclear threats? I mean, there have been some over the past year or so, several, but there's also been several nuclear threats um, they have nuclear threats or have vocalized nuclear threats in the face of our instigating more, uh, more, I guess, action against them, retaliation against them, strikes inside of Russia, shipping more weapons to Ukraine, et cetera, right? And what Russia has done is said, like, hey, guys, would you quit with the advancing of the right? The whole reason they started this war was because there were too many advancements from NATO and US, aligned powers on their territory or against their interests, right? And so their invasion of Ukraine was don't come any closer. And so, but we keep sending them billions of dollars and billions of dollars in weapons, and keep threatening to strike inside of Russia, and et cetera. Right? We keep escalating the war, to which they say, like, if you keep doing this, we're going to have to do something, even more shocking, which I don't, nobody wants to see. Um, so I don't know. Let's keep reading. Nuclear threats amid its invasion of Ukraine, tensions in other world hotspots, military applications of artificial intelligence, yep, and climate change as factors underlying the risks of global catastrophe. They set the clock 89 seconds before midnight, the theoretical point of annihilation. That is one second closer than it was set last year. So they moved it up by 1 second. Is it is that is it any scarier that there were one more second to midnight? I mean, I don't know. It seems as if one war is de-escalating, so that's good news. And anyways, the Chicago-based nonprofit created the clock in 1947 during the Cold War tensions that followed World War II. Um, so there you go. One whole second. Nuclear risk, climate change, potential misuse of advances in biological science, and a variety of other emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, which I would agree. All of those things are legitimate threats to life on planet Earth. Let's keep going. We haven't even talked. This entire week has been filled with images coming out of Europe and the massive flooding that they've been experiencing. This is Italy, but England, France. Uh, did I see things happening in Spain as well? I don't, all over Europe, they've been facing some massive flooding. And as with fire or any other catastrophe, these people, are going to have to clean up a large, they're not losing their homes, but they're going to have to clean up a large mess before they can get back in there. And this, devastating tragedies, extreme weather events, which seem to be happening all the time now, right? It's kind of constant. Again, wherever you are, if you feel like you're safe from some kind of extreme event like this, you are not. You are not. The lesson is you are not safe. Just be prepared at all times, because something can come and bite you, and you might have 24 hours to figure out what you're going to do. In hindsight, is 2020 all the time. All right. Good post on. I concur wholeheartedly with this idea. As we headlong into this supposed the necessity of an AI revolution. It's like they're calling it a race. Like, oh, somebody's going to get there first, so we got to go as fast as we can. I'm like, Do you have to? Do you have to get in the race? Do you have to race the race? Do you have to do it? I don't know. Maybe you can go in another direction and sidestep the whole thing, right? I mean, the idea about deep seek syncing NVIDIA was that they rethought the whole idea of AI. Well, what if, can you go a step further and rethink the whole idea of having to get in the race of AI? Maybe you can go in a totally different direction and support people in different ways other than like, well, we're going to be first to AI and that'll help you out. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more. Anyways, Ashish Joshi says, do we really need AI? Why is it more important to invest in artificial intelligence than in public education and critical thinking? What? What's that? Why are we increasing our reliance on high energy and materials, consuming tech at a time of accelerating planetary breakdown? Please advise. Yes. Like, what if, what if you did a Mexico and just said like, oh, well, okay, AI, sure, that's important, I guess. What if you're like, why don't we secure healthy food for the, why don't we secure a livable planet? Why don't we secure um, um, a long-lasting, uh, forward-thinking, multi-generational plan for advancing, or not advancing life on Earth, but keeping the Earth stable and keeping people healthy and happy before we even, hurtle headlong into an AI race. Maybe, mass surveillance and Skynet is not is not the future that we should plan for. All right. Speaking of AI, well, here's an interesting one. Hold on. Where are we? I do have a post about Deep Seek from Chris Martinson, which is pretty good. But hold on one second, and let's. Oh, this isn't AI. This is Alexa, but this is an interesting post here. Alexa, what happens to Florida in 2025? Let's listen.
Alexa, what happens to Florida in 2025?
On September 4th, 2025 at 3:08 p.m., Florida will be hit by a Category 5 hurricane with winds as high as 205 miles per hour. Miami will be completely destroyed.
Alexa, what happens to Florida in 2025?
So I don't know. That's either a very scary prediction based on I don't know what, but or maybe Alexa understands the the probability that something like that might happen in the next year. I don't, but it seemed pretty specific. September 4th. I don't know. Beware September 4th if you're in Florida, I guess. Miami specifically, as it may be wiped off the map. But that, whether it happens this year or, in the next 5 years, it's not out of the realm of possibility, considering the extreme weather events that seem to be getting more frequent and more powerful. Let's see. California considers letting wildfire victims sue oil companies for damages. Can we sue the power? I mean, there's already lawsuits against the Southern California Edison concerning the fire. California considers letting wildfire victims sue oil companies for damages. That's interesting. Also, so there are lawsuits against Edison for starting the fire, and they seem to have a video, a smoking gun video of the sparks that actually started the fire. Very famous electrical towers right above Altadena. There are several towers that go through the mountains that carry electricity to the city, surrounding neighborhoods and whatnot. And they have video showing that the fire started around one of these electrical towers in the mountains right above Altadena. So look at this video of sparks points to Eaton fire's origins, lawsuit says. Here's a video. It's hard to see this video. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys can't see it. Can you see this video? You cannot see this video. Hold on. There you go. They're showing an arc, which is, this video camera is pointing towards the mountains. So apparently here's a spark and an arc on the mountain showing the beginning of the fire there. That's up on the mountain near a one of those electrical towers. And they're saying that's the beginning of the fire. So they seem to have video evidence. Evidence on site, says Global. Yeah, there's also that. Video was released Sunday by a law firm representing a woman whose house was destroyed by the fire and is suing Southern California Edison, primary electrical utility for Los Angeles. The suit alleges SCE equipment caused the Eaton fire, which has killed 17 people, injured 9 firefighters, and damaged or destroyed 10,491 structures, making it the second most destructive and 5th most deadly wildfire in the state's history. The video also is mentioned in a court filing from the firm Monday, asking a court to order SCE to preserve certain physical evidence the plaintiff alleges may show the cause of the sparking. Cause of the Eaton fire remains under investigation by the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, and no official cause has been determined. SCE said January 12th, an analysis of 4 energized lines in the Eaton Canyon area showed no interruptions or operational electrical anomalies in the 12 hours prior to the fire's reported start time until more than 1 hour after the reported start time of the fire. But the video obtained by law firm Edison PC shows what the firm believes was the start of the fire. And it's time-stamped. The video from the gas station camera, which CNN verified is located at 1633 North Altadena Drive in Pasadena, and it's the Arco there, and points in the direction of the fire, shows what appears to be electrical sparks on power lines on the evening of January 7th. So it shows arcing and sparking, followed by the eruption of flames, all at 6:11 p.m. And the first reporting of the fire was at 6:18 p.m. So, anyways. Pretty damning evidence there. All right, so also some on the Trump front, Trump has frozen spending, federal funding for all kinds of things. One of which is reported Medicaid funding was frozen. People reporting that the Medicaid sites are down. Trump's funding freeze creates widespread confusion. You know, from the surface, obviously this does not look good. It doesn't look good if Medicaid funding is frozen. Obviously, people can't get health care. That's a big old negative. So we'll look at this a little bit. An abrupt halt on federal grants and loans announced Monday by the Trump administration has created widespread confusion across the government, Congress, state programs, and nonprofit organizations that rely on that funding. The Office of Management and Budget sent a vaguely worded two-page memo. So, it's not clear exactly which programs will be halted, but OMB also sent a document to agencies asking for details on more than 2,600 programs, including school meals for low-income students, USAID, foreign assistance, mine inspections, the WIC program for low-income mothers, and a reintegration program for homeless veterans. So they're saying that it's not frozen for everything, but they're, I guess, freezing the funding in order to make sure that none of the funding contradicts with new executive orders. I don't know how long this freeze is going to be. It just started today, or it's supposed to start today. Said if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. So funding for programs that provide direct assistance to Americans would be excluded from the pause. Those programs include, so I don't know if this is false or not. The Medicaid report is false or not. I've been seeing it on Twitter, but they're saying it's not supposed to be frozen. So the White House confirms Medicaid portal's outage, but claims no payments affected. So they're saying the portals were down, but this is assistance, direct assistance to people is not supposed to be interrupted. Small business assistance, Head Start, rental assistance, federal Pell grants for college students, etc. I don't know. I have conflicting ideas about this. I've been saying for the last year that everything is a money laundering scheme. So if they really truly are going to figure out if money is going to places that it shouldn't be, I guess that's a good thing. I know a lot of people might not trust the Trump government to do such a thing, and I get it. Yeah, remain skeptical, remain on high alert at all times. But if it's an attempt to I don't know. They're saying they don't want it to contradict the executive orders, like squashing like DEI or gender affirming care, stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. But there's a lot of money laundering going on. We know that, and it's everywhere, in the government. So I don't know. I mean, it would be great if they did something like stopped all the money laundering that's going on. Do I have high hopes for that? No, I don't. But we'll see what happens. And I don't know I don't know how long this is supposed to be going on. I don't know if it's indefinitely or if they have a time when they're supposed to turn the money back on, right? Is there a certain amount of time they're allotting themselves to figure out what's going on and then bring it all back? I don't know. There's lawsuits already, going at this. We'll see. And of course, there's no funding freeze for the military, right? That still gets fully funded, I'm sure. I don't know, Schulte. Is that? I don't know about that. I'm not sure. You have high hopes, Salt Lakers? Okay. Okay. Um, Someone says, who is it? Tom Cole from Oklahoma says, I think they're doing the right thing. They're getting control of the situation. There's a lot of money moving out there right at the end of the Biden administration. That's, pretty typical. So I think they want to get control of that and make sure nothing's moving along that they don't agree with. I mean, they were talking about dumping gold bars off the Titanic at the end of the Biden administration. Maybe they want to get control of that. I don't know I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing either, because we know the Biden administration was full on money laundering. It was a full on money laundering operation, top to bottom, front to back. The Biden administration equals money laundering and corruption. That's was their entire agenda the entire way through. I argue, and I'll argue anybody down around that. They were not there to help anybody. They were there to help themselves and enrich themselves and their buddies. That's all they were doing. And enrich the corporations. That's all they were doing. Am I saying the Trump administration is going to be any different from that? I don't know. I don't have high hopes. I'm remaining completely skeptical till the very end. But we'll see. We'll see. Full tariffs announced February 1st. Okay, when that's also happening. Trump is still saying that he's going to get rid of the income tax. Does anybody think that's actually going to happen? He just said I don't know, last 2 days that he was still intent on getting rid of the income. I feel like that's kind of like putting a target on your back. You're going to get rid of the IRS. I feel like that's like, you might be pissing off the like really the wrong people saying stuff like that. I don't know. How do you wash $100 billion? You crane it. Okay. But Yeah, Bella. Yeah, they were trucking gold bars out of the Trade Center basement on a particular morning in September. Yep. 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 What else? Let's see. Well, here's another interesting thing out of the Trump administration. They are opening up the press room to podcasters and independent journalists. That's actually pretty cool. I would have to say that's pretty cool, considering the Biden administration shut down even, credentialed journalists, had them taken out of the room, a la Sam Husseini. So this is actually kind of a cool little wrinkle. I'm for this. I can agree with. I think this is actually this is okay. Independent journalists, podcasters, and social media influencers can now apply for credentials to cover the Trump White House. I mean, are they going to be allowed to talk? I guess is the next question. I mean, they can be allowed in, but are they going to be allowed to ask questions or say stuff? I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
And in keeping with this revolutionary media approach that President Trump deployed during the campaign, the Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities, not just the legacy media who are seated in this room. Because according to recent polling from Gallup, Americans' trust in mass media has fallen to a record low. Millions of Americans, especially young people, have turned from traditional television outlets and newspapers to consume their news from podcasts, blogs, social media, and other independent outlets. It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape.
Okay, well, we got that. So, Salt Laker says if he gets rid of the IRS, I will get a Trump tattoo. I'll hold you to that. We're going to hold you to that. I'm not getting a Trump tattoo. I don't care if he, I don't know. I mean, I'm not getting a Trump tattoo. I don't care what he does, but I'm not going to get one. But what about moving to DC? No, I'm not moving. I mean, I have family there. I'm not moving to DC though. My family is here. My kids are here. So not going to do that. But it's an interesting wrinkle. It's kind of cool. If Trump got rid of the IRS, I would not get a Trump tattoo, but I might actually get a hat. I might wear a hat and go like, cool. I might get a hat. I'm going to take it off though. Take it off. All right. Let's see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know, guys. It's, there's pros and cons to all of this. The AI Stargate race is not great. There's all, the tech lords invade, just bunkering down at the White House is not great. The coming AI surveillance state is not great. DC sucks. I kind of like DC, actually. It's one of my favorite cities. Weirdly, you may think that's weird, but I kind of enjoy DC. A lot of museums there. It's, there's a lot of culture going on there. There's a lot of music and art. So I don't know. I kind of like the vibe a little bit. But I'm not a politician, so I'm not in the as far as that goes. I'm sure that all of that is a headache. What else? What else is going on? Oh, let's read this post from Chris Martinson about the. Oh, before we do that, let's read this from Thomas Reese. Forecast for Northern Hemisphere is up to 3.1 C with extreme warming of the Arctic, and we have many governments with very narrow interests, not the slightest for other species. So there's these forecasts for not just a polar vortex hitting the mainland U.S., but in the North Pole, there's going to be record temperatures in the next week that they say may contribute to a blue ocean event. So that is not a good thing. And this is a quick lesson on climate change for the people that are like, how can it be cold? How can climate change cause it to be cold? And global warming it doesn't make sense. I mean, I thought, where's the warming at? It's so cold. How can it be hot and cold? How can it be responsible for all these things? Being dry and wet. And I don't understand, because this is a lesson in climate change, because the reason why it's so cold is because air that is way too hot for the area, because the jet stream is shredded. It is no longer containing the cold air up in the Arctic where it's supposed to stay, right? And the warm air down south where it's supposed to stay. It's shredded. And so warm air, extremely warm air, is invading the Arctic, causing it to be way warmer than it's supposed to be, pushing out all the cold air. Where's the cold air go? Down into this United States, contiguous United States, causing it to have a polar vortex kind of event, right? Deep freezes and snowstorms and all kinds of wild shit. Meanwhile, all the ice up in the Arctic, where it's supposed to be cold, is melting, and that's not supposed to be happening, right? That is climate change. Okay, just quickly. That was just a quick little rundown. If you want to know more, I don't know, look into it. There's lots of people to listen to about climate change and the whole subject of it and how complicated it is. And I know it's complicated. It might it might cause people to have a little like, aneurysm or a fuzz out in their chip in the brain to think about like, it can't be cold and hot and cold and hot and can't be cold because of climate change because it's only supposed to be hot and I don't get it. I mean, you can study the whole science behind it and then you would understand more about how it happens. You could do that, especially if you're a journalist. You could do that. Anyways, just suggesting. Everyone is just about to receive a brutal lesson in non-linear change. No one should be surprised. That's a quote from Kevin Hester. The temperature anomaly of 30C will hit the North Pole on February 2nd, 2025, according to the updated forecast run January 26, 2025. 30C. It's freaking warm for the North Pole in February. That's not supposed to be happening. That's called everything is out of whack. The climate is out of whack. Climate change is happening. It's all screwed up. If you wonder why it's, 100 mile an hour winds are causing fires, well, I mean, that's not hard to figure out. I don't know. I mean, you could chalk it up to a conspiracy, or you could just say they're, using situations to cause certain things to happen. I'm open to that idea, but like the idea that the climate isn't completely destroyed is, and you're seeing evidence of it everywhere. It's just kind of, it's kind of hard to not see, right? I don't know. You have to work really hard not to see it. Anyways, Going South says, my take on the February 2nd event is that it would be less consequential than Sam Carana proposes. Maybe. I mean, Sam Carana seems, tends to overstate things all the time. So that's why I don't really bring Sam Carana to the table much anymore, because I don't, his constant overly extreme take does not help the conversation around climate change at all. I don't know. And I should sell cap. I don't know. Would you buy a cap with a Black Bear News and a thumbs up? Would everybody buy a cap like that? If I have enough takers, I'll make them. I'll make the caps. If you guys want to buy them, I'll make them. By the way, all the t-shirts on I took all the t-shirts and stuff on my site down. So right now there's no Black Bear News t-shirts available or anything, because they don't exist anymore. They're all up in smoke. I have no merchandise left. So until I get new merchandise or find out a way to get new merchandise or make it or whatever, I don't have any merch on my site anymore. So that's okay. I haven't had many people. I haven't had many takers for the Black Bear News merch lately. Anyways, won't be making thumbs up hats unless somebody really wants it. Anyways, but I will, as soon as I can get the t-shirts back up on the site, I will, but I don't have anywhere to make t-shirts right now. I don't have any equipment to make t-shirts right now. I'm not going to make t-shirts right now. It's not in my immediate plans because there are much more pressing things to do. Like make music. I'm trying to figure out how to make music before I make t-shirts. All right. Let's see. Oh, we were going to look at Chris Martinson. I think this will be the last post of the day here to look at. Everybody on Rockfin, you guys sitting tight? All right. See a bunch of people sitting tight on Rockfin. That's very good. I see all y'all. Steph C, AOD, hello. All right, very good. Old as dirt. Gene Whitworth. He wants to turn the IRS into the ERS. Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think about that idea? You think that's a good idea, a stupid idea? Um, does it make sense with a few tweaks? I don't know. I don't know. Um, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really like put my brain on it. So Chris Martenson thinks that the deep seek AI revolution is going to push us into a recession. Another is going to push us into a financial collapse around AI. Maybe. Maybe. Let's read this. The DeepSeek episode will pop the AI bubble, making the prior two Federal Reserve-inspired bubbles of 2000 and 2008 look like walks in the park. That's pretty dire. On a deeper level, it tells us that the torch of creativity has been passed from the West to the East. While we overfocused on money and distractions like how many genders, DEI, and so-called green energy, while allowing our administrative regulatory burdens to accumulate to smothering levels, China decided to limit screen time for kids, promote achievements, and reward merit. The old saying that China copied us no longer applies. China did not copy thorium reactors, deep-seek, orbiting quantum satellites, hypersonic missiles, smashing the fusion plasma state record. This is a solemn moment in time. Can the West come back, or will it continue to pretend it's the best while ignoring the signs that it really isn't? I'm a fan of competition. It makes everyone better, but it really can backfire if one participant falsely believes they have an indestructible lead. Feels like China is digital photography and the US and Europe are Xerox. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I agree with this take necessarily. Um, I feel like the AI market in the US is still plenty strong. I read somewhere that uh, DeepSeek actually bought quite a few of NVIDIA's chips to use in its program. So is it, did they really undermine them that much? I don't know. This is, the news moves very quickly. It comes out and people are like, oh my God, they make these proclamations that this is the end of the world or the beginning of a new world or something totally different has taken place. And then like 2 weeks later, everybody's like, shrug. I don't know. Creative Experiment says AI insurance and tariff collapse starting February 1st. No, I don't know. I don't know. Be prepared, I guess. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, as the saying goes. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I like Chris Martenson. I do. I like most of everything he has to say. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this whole take, but it's interesting nonetheless. I don't know if it's going to cause. Maybe, I mean, maybe the fracturing of the AI market might bring the whole market down, but there's also, debt, the 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 ever accumulating debt cliff that we're on. Maybe you need a few things to coalesce to cause everything to, and it could totally happen. We could see, it would not surprise me. Nothing much would surprise me right now. I am totally devoid of being like taken aback or surprised by anything at this moment. Like I'm really ready for anything to happen, and so nothing can surprise me at this moment. A total and complete financial market meltdown happening next week, totally a non-shocker. But I don't necessarily believe that's going to happen. But again, wouldn't be surprised. Okay, it is real close, or is it this week? Is it the end of the week? Is it the end of the week? What day is it? I don't know. It is Saturday, February 1st. Well, we're gonna have to wait for February 3rd before the market collapses, right? So if the tariffs start on the 1st, I mean, you can't do a lot of damage until Monday. So you got until Monday. Eggs at $50 a dozen. I mean, and that's happening too. All right, guys, I gotta get on out of here. I didn't do my spiel. If you enjoy the show, you like watching the show, and you enjoy the show coming to you for free 99 Monday through Friday. You enjoy hanging out here and you want to see the show continue, I second that emotion. I encourage you to come and hang out with us every single day. And if you want the show to keep on going, a really good way to ensure that it keeps on going is to donate to the show or support the show in a monetary way. It really makes it, a little bit more worth my while to keep showing up and doing the work. Hard to do it for free because I got to make money some way, somehow. So if I have to go out and work 10 hours or 12 hours a day in order to keep the money coming in, then I don't have a lot of time to do the show. You know how that works, right? Anyways, if you want to contribute to the show, there are lots of links in the description box. There's lots of ways to do it. All the links are there. All the usual suspects: PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, Zelle, Patreon, and on and on. And a lot of you support the show already, and I appreciate you. And you know who you are, and I thank you guys for doing that, for supporting the show, and for showing up and hanging out and being constant and loyal supporters of the show. I really can't do it without you guys. Thank you guys. All right, I'm gonna see you all tomorrow at noon. I don't think I have anybody to thank right now. To everybody who supported the GoFundMe, thank you. A lot of you have supported the GoFundMe. I see your names. I'm gonna have to go in and make a list of everybody that contributed to the GoFundMe, and I will, name names one day, or just do a scrolling screen so that people can know who supported the GoFundMe. Thank you guys for doing that. You all are awesome. Oh, there's also Buy Me a Coffee and Ko-Fi's are also available too. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. And I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know. The Rumble Studio is not working very well. It's kind of working kind of slow. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Until next time. Peace.